Hello students. In continuation with the ray optics, the general form and other forms of Snell's law. So we have refractive index of second medium with respect to the first medium is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction, that is equation 1. And also from also we have deduced that refractive index of second medium with respect to the first medium is also the ratio of absolute refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. From these two equations 1 and 2, we can write sin I by sin R equals to N2 by N1. On the cross multiplication, we get N1 sin I equals to N2 sin R. N1 is the absolute refractive index of the first medium. I is the angle of incidence in that first medium. N2 is the absolute refractive index of second medium, and R the angle of refraction in the second medium. Second point, light having a wave nature. The speed of light in air or vacuum is given as c equals to f lambda 1, where f is the frequency of light, lambda 1 is the wavelength of light. And in a given medium such as water, glass, diamond and edible oils, so on and so forth, the speed of light in the given medium v equals to f lambda 2, where f is frequency and lambda is wavelength. So as the light travels from air to given medium, the speed of light decreases. In other words, c is greater than v, lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2. So as the light advances from a rarer to denser medium, the speed decreases as well as the wavelength decreases. Hence, c is greater than v, lambda 1 is also greater than lambda 2. Light traveling from air to glass, medium 1 to medium 2, we can write refractive index of second medium with respect to the first medium as the ratio of absolute refractive index of second medium to the absolute refractive index of first medium. That can be written as a speed of light in the second, also can be written as speed of light in the first medium divided by speed of light in the second medium. In terms of frequency and wavelength, we can write f lambda 1 by f lambda 2. As the light advances from air to glass, speed decreases, wavelength decreases, whereas frequency remains same. That's why frequency get cancelled. We are left with lambda 1 by lambda 2. So n2 by n1 equals to lambda 1 by lambda 2, or we can write n1 lambda 1 equals to n2 lambda 2. n1 is the refractive index of the first medium and lambda 1 is the wavelength of light in that medium. n2 is the absolute refractive index of second medium and wavelength of light in the second medium. Note: visible light has a wavelength range 4000 to 8000 angstrom net, 4000 for violet, whereas 8000 angstrom net for red color light. All other colors are indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, whose wavelength lies in between 4000 and 8000. In a given denser medium, say glass, red color light travels fastest and also having a longer wavelength, whereas all these colors, Vibgyor we say, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, they all travel with the same speed in air or vacuum, and these colors travel with different speeds in a given media. Red travels faster, whereas violet travels slowest. So already we have discussed refractive index can be calculated taking the ratios of the speeds of light. When red light travels fastest, the refractive index of glass with respect to red is less than the refractive refractive index of the same class for violet color. Since a wavelength of violet is less than wavelength for red color, velocity of a violet color is less than velocity of a red color in a glass medium. Hence, in this context, we can lastly conclude that refractive index is different for different colors for a given medium, and it is more for the violet, whereas it is less for the red color. Further, refraction through parallel sided glass slab. A parallel sided glass slab is a transparent glass slab made up of 6 rectangular surfaces. A, B, C, D is a section of such a parallel sided glass slab. So we will be discussing the refraction through parallel sided glass slab and writing the expression for the lateral shift. So in due course we will define what is the lateral shift and discuss the expression for the lateral shift. So here ABCD is a section of a glass slab. PQ is a incident ray incidenting obliquely on the interface AB at an angle I1. Light traversing from air to glass, after refraction it bends towards the normal. R1 is the angle of refraction. R1 is less than I1. The refracted light QR incidents on the interface CD at R. R2 be the angle of incidence in a denser medium, that is a glass medium, and light emerges out into the air medium after refraction at R. After refraction at R, light bends away from the normal. I2 be the angle of emergence. So with help of geometry, we can show that the incident ray and the emergent ray RS, they remain parallel to one another. If they remain parallel to one another, then R1 equals to R2, thereby I1 equals to I2. The perpendicular distance between the incident ray and the emergent ray, RT. This RT is a perpendicular distance between the incident ray and the emergent ray is called as lateral shift. And expression for the lateral shift, LS, is given by T sin I minus R divided by cos R. I is the angle of incidence, R be the angle of refraction, and T the thickness of the glass slab. Here T is the thickness of the glass slab, AD. The factors on which the lateral shift depends. If you refer to the equation here, lateral shift is directly proportional to the thickness of the glass slab. Lateral shift also depends on the angle of incidence. If angle of incidence increases, lateral shift, that is RT, the perpendicular distance, also increase. Now instead of a glass medium, if you take the water medium, the lateral shift varies. So the factors on which the lateral shift depends on: number 1, thickness of the glass slab, T, wavelength, lambda. So here suppose if we consider a violet light, RT be the lateral shift. If you consider the red color light here, red bends least, lateral shift will be also least. In other words, lateral shift is different for different colors, or else lateral shift depends on wavelength of light lambda. The third one is lateral shift depends on refractive indices of media. If a light is traveling from air to glass, or air to water, or air to diamond, or water to glass, so for a given pair of media, the refractive indices will be different. Based on that, the lateral shift also varies. So these are the various factors on which the lateral shift depends. Let me repeat once again. Lateral shift LS depends on thickness of the glass slab T, wavelength of light lambda, refractive indices of media, and angle of incidence I. If light is made to incident along AB, then after refraction at Q and R, light emerges parallel to AB. The maximum possible lateral shift is equals to the thickness of the glass slab. In other words, if light incidents grazing the interface and it also emerges grazing the interface, the perpendicular distance between the incident ray and the emergent ray is equals to the thickness of the glass slab. So the maximum possible lateral shift can be equal to the thickness of the glass slab. Further, normal refraction and expression for normal shift. Here O is the luminous point object placed in a bucket of water. Then a set of rays we are considering starting from this luminous object. A ray OP incidenting normally on the interface, that is the surface separating air and water. Light travels undeviated, wherein Snell's law is invalid. Another ray, say OQ, incidenting obliquely on the interface. After refraction bends away from the normal, since light is traversing from denser water medium to rarer air medium. Both the refracted rays are diverging, they do not intersect. When they are produced backward, they intersect each other at a point wherein the image of the object is been formed. When the object is placed in a denser medium and viewed by the observer normally from a air medium, the object inside the water appears to be raised. Physically it doesn't rise, but for an observer it appears to be raised through some height called as normal refraction. The height through which it appears to be raised is called normal shift. Then a refractive index of water with respect to air, N/1, is the ratio of a real depth to the apparent depth. Real depth is OP and apparent depth is IP. Suppose if a real depth is 4 meter, for an observer the object appears to be at a depth of 3 meter, apparent depth is 3 meter, so refractive index of water is 1.33. This is another definition for the refractive index. Refractive index of water with respect to air, or refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, is the ratio of a real depth to the apparent depth. Normal shift. Normal shift is the height through which the object appears to be raised is called normal shift. Here OI is normal shift. OP is the real depth, IP is apparent depth, and OI is normal shift. It is given by a relation H into bracket 1 minus 1 by N, where N is the refractive index of water. Refractive index of water is 1.33, height is 4 meter, and normal shift appears to be 1 meter. Normal shift depends on real depth H, and normal shift is different for different colors, hence it depends on wavelength of light lambda, and normal shift also depends on the refractive indices of media. Instead of water we take some edible oil, the normal shift varies. So different media produces different normal shift. Thank you.